ya AMTV Malawi. Osaiwala kupanga subscribe ku channel ya AMTV Malawi. Osaiwala kupanga subscribe ku channel ya AMTV Malawi. Osaiwala kupanga subscribe ku channel ya AMTV Malawi.
Before you respond, we would like to you to respond under oath. So may I request Secretary to administer oath.
Osaiwala kupanga subscribe ku channel ya AMTV Malawi.
I, Samson Ngutwa,
do solemnly swear
by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Ngutwa, you're free to respond to the summons. We've noted you've circulated your report. We're not too sure how you intend to make your submission, but feel free. After your presentation, members will ask follow-up questions. You may proceed. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. It is an honor to appear before your Honorable Committee to give witness evidence regarding the tragic military airplane crash of 10th June 2024 that claimed the lives of 9 Malawians, including Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi. May their souls continue resting in peace. To begin with, Honorable Chairperson, let me confirm that I served as clerk to the cabinet at the time of the tragedy. As clerk to the cabinet, I was overseeing day-to-day operations of the cabinet office. This is a department in the office of the President Cabinet that serves as secretariat to cabinet. It also facilitates policy development across government and looks after the welfare of ministers as well as former presidents. As a technical head, I was reporting directly to the Secretary to the President and Cabinet. And by virtue of this law, I happen to have spoken with late Lapken at around 7:45 a.m. as he left for Kia on the morning of 10th June 2024. Late Lapken was yet to finish me with a final presidential program scheduled for the afternoon of that fateful day. I needed that program as a matter of urgency to alert ministers who would see off the president at the airport as he left for Bahamas. He promised to do so as soon as he landed in Zuzu, but Honorable Chair, as we all know, that never happened. So the tragedy was profound and depressing to me as a person as well. As per the summons to witness that I received last week Friday, 26 June 2024, I'm called to testify on the following. 1, the role played by myself concerning planning of the late Vice President's program on 10th June 2024. 2, communications with government institutions and the events immediately preceding the departure of the plane carrying the Vice President from Kamuzu International Airport. And 3, any information that I believe may assist your committee in your inquiry. Allow me, Honorable Chairperson, to begin by providing the necessary background information as follows. Events following the passing of late Honorable Ralph Kasambara, SC, former Minister of Justice and Attorney General. As members of the Honorable Committee may also be aware, apart from his distinguished legal career, late Kasambala SC served as Minister of Justice and Attorney General from 26th April 2012 to 11th October 2012, and later as Minister of Justice from 6th December 2012 to July 2013. The practice for late former cabinet ministers has been to accord them burial with full military honors in recognition of their contribution to the development of this country. For this to happen, Honorable Chairperson, the process is as follows. 1, OPC engages the deceased family regarding the funeral and burial arrangements. 2, Chief Secretary reports death and seeks a directive for burial with military honors from the President as a Commander-in-Chief. The submission also proposes condolence money and a contribution towards and/or purchase of a casket. The President is also invited to delegate a minister to represent him or her at the funeral ceremony. Once the President so directs, OPC informs and shares the funeral program with the Malawi Defense Force for implementation. The office also processes condolence money and a contribution towards a casket, and usually this is in cash form. For the contribution towards the casket is on a refund basis. Honorable Chairperson, members of the Honorable Committee, the above outlined process kicked in when Honorable Ralph Kasambala, SC, passed on. I remember having spoken with Council Wapona Kita on the program. Much as he was not a family member, I got introduced to him through Brigadier General Dan Kwali. There was prior consultation regarding late Kasambala's eligibility because of his conviction status. Later on, we discussed with the Secretary to the President, with former Secretary to the President of the Cabinet, that a memo should still be deployed, as it was at the end of the day the prerogative of the President to approve burial with military honors or not. For late Kasambala, I want to put it on record, Honorable Chairperson, that the President delegated Honorable Richard Banda MP, then Minister of Local Government, to represent him. The following were approved. 1, 5 million as condolence money. 2, 2.5 million as contribution towards the casket. Role played by myself concerning the planning of the late Vice President's program on 9th and 10th June 2024. Honorable Chairperson, against this backdrop, Madam Colleen Zamba, former Secretary of the President Cabinet, rang me on a Sunday, 9th June 2024, at around between 4:30 and 5 p.m. It was closer to sunset. That time, I was in Chilima. She checked where I was, probably because I was at the farm and there the reception was not good. She told me that she had heard that the Right Honorable Vice President may attend the burial ceremony of the late Honorable Ralph Kasambala in Nkatabe the following day. She therefore instructed me to check with the office of the Vice President and, if confirmed, arrange that the condolence money be directed to that office. As per Cabinet protocol, she insisted that the planned and formal procedure of a Cabinet Minister, in this case Honorable Chimwendo Banda MP, representing the President, would no longer apply if the Vice President was attending the funeral ceremony. Honorable Chairperson, I could not reach Dr. Alakis Kwese, then Secretary to the Vice President, as well as Mr. Eric Yesaya, then the Principal responsible for administration in the office of the Vice President. I ended up calling Mr. Alfred Nkoma, who was Deputy Director of Administration, who told me that the Right Honorable Vice President would only attend if the office was able to charter a plane for the Malawi Defense Force. He promised to revert, which he did roughly an hour later, confirming the availability of the plane as well as the trip. Honorable Chairperson, given this confirmation, I communicated to former SPC and proceeded to inform the Finance Directorate, this is within the OPC now, of the new arrangement. Later that evening, around 8 p.m. or thereabouts, I managed to speak with the former Secretary of the Vice President, this is Dr. Lakis Kwese now, and sought guidance on how the condolence money should be delivered. He advised me that the money should be delivered to the office of the Vice President before 8 a.m. on Monday, because the flight to Nzuzu would be around 9 a.m. I promptly communicated this information to the Director of Finance, who assured me that he would instruct one of the accountants in OPC to deliver the money before the stated time. I left it to the Director of Finance to facilitate. Come Monday morning, around 7:30, I was consulted again. And I suppose that maybe the accountants, OPC and the Office of the Vice President, they were not able to talk to each other. So I called Ms. Irene Ngangire, who was a personal secretary to the late Vice President, to assist. At that time, she told me that she was going to the office. Delivery, Honorable Chairperson, was later confirmed, and this was done by Mr. Wilson Dis, an assistant accountant in the Office of the President and Cabinet. Communication with government institutions post-tragedy. Honorable Chairperson, on 10th June 2024, members of the Cabinet were invited to an emergency Cabinet meeting. It was very late, around 22 hours, and the former President briefed his Cabinet on the missing plane, search and rescue efforts before addressing the nation roughly at 23 hours. My role. I was instructed by former SPC to call and invite all ministers and deputy ministers to the meeting. This was after 6 p.m. In order to expedite the notification process, we had to share this responsibility amongst ourselves in the Cabinet Office. I remember some of the ministers had to be called by the director. We also have deputy directors and the chief Cabinet Services officers who participated in this. I was in attendance at this emergency Cabinet meeting. On 18th June 2024, wreckage was located, dates confirmed, and the ministerial and the technical committees were established. Membership was extended to family members as well as senior party officials, both Malawi Congress Party as well as UTM. And the committees were established to oversee repatriation of the bodies from Chikangawa, as well as the subsequent burial and the funeral arrangements. I've shared, I think, a document depicting the membership. My role, I assisted former SPC with necessary paperwork. We had to inform members of both the ministerial as well as technical committee on their respective appointments, and later invite principal secretaries, heads of security agencies, and the technical heads of relevant departments. And I've put that in brackets, Honorable Chair. Public events, they had to be there. The protocol, they had to be there, as well as State House had to be represented at this meeting. To a very first meeting, which started at 6 p.m. In order to expedite the process, we once again had to share this responsibility of making calls amongst ourselves in the Cabinet Office. Honorable Chairperson, on 12th June 2024, Cabinet also met. This time around, it was to approve preparations, burial programs for the deceased, and the state funeral for the Vice President. Again, my role on this day was to ensure that notices were dispatched, and I also rendered secretarial services as may have been appropriate. The issue of condolence money you mentioned, Honorable Chairperson. Upon the expiry of the mourning period of 21 days, and learning that condolence money was not recovered, I sought a fresh approval for the condolence money, the 5 million, and the 2.5 million government contribution, which was approved to be processed. I can report to this committee that I hand delivered the condolence money as well as the contribution to Mrs. Maki Kasambara, surviving spouse in Blantyre, in the first week of July 2024. I thought maybe in line with my terms of reference, I could also speak on death benefits and compensation. And considering the tragic and sensitivities surrounding the accident, the Office of the President and Cabinet convened a stakeholder meeting on 9th September 2024. The stakeholders who were in attendance were the Office of the Vice President, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Health, Department of Human Resource Management and Development, Accountant General, Minister of Justice, and the Minister of Labor. The meeting was solely convened to ensure that death benefits and compensations are processed quickly to families of departed officers. I attended that meeting, and I was instructed to remind all the institutions to implement the agreed tasks by Friday, 30th September of that week. I think the meeting was on a Monday, and the resolution were that the tasks should be implemented by Friday of that week. The long and short of it, Honorable Chairperson, my role before and after the accident was largely facilitatory. As I already said, it was a depressing moment for everyone in the Cabinet Office, but we had to make sure that the burials of the 8 officers, as well as the state funeral of the late Vice President, were well facilitated. So I submit, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ngutwa, for your elaborate presentation. Members may have questions. May I recognize Mwanza Central and then Dowa Kasangazi.
Thank you very much, Chair. I have a few questions. The first one, I just want to find out if I just want Mr. Ngutwa to confirm if indeed Honorable Chimwendo was assigned by the President to represent him. Do you confirm?
I confirm.
All right. What time did you get that information?
The time when SPC called me in the Sunday afternoon. So as I said, it was closer to sunset, around 5, when she was instructing me to confirm whether the Vice President will be traveling. In that case, then Honorable Chimwendo will no longer represent the President. Thank you.
Okay, so the SPC is the one who told you that Honorable Chimwendo was delegated to represent the President.
I can confirm.
All right. I'm asking because we had the Honorable Nkandawire. You are talking about 4:30 to 5 p.m. But Honorable Nkandawire said that the President called him at 7 p.m., informing him that he will represent him at the funeral. Are you aware of any arrangement of that sort?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, I'm not aware of that arrangement.
Thank you very much. You have given us a list of condolence money that OPC has been distributing. So I just want to find out, do you have information as to who delivered the condolence money to the family of late Honorable Gudo Gondwe?
Yeah, through you, Honorable Chairperson, when it comes to condolence money, there are 2 ways of delivering the condolence money. There are times when staff in the Office of the President Cabinet, these usually would be the accounts people or staff in the Cabinet Office proper, which is the Secretariat to the Cabinet, as I already said, they have traveled, driven to deliver the money. But there are times when staff of ministers have come to OPC to collect the condolence money. So for Honorable Good Ogondwe, staff traveled to Zuzu to deliver the condolence money.
For the late Justice Duncan Tambala?
Honorable Chairperson, the procedure is more or less like that. It depends who has been delegated by the President, because condolence monies are only processed where there is delegation. So there could be times when the President has delegated to a minister who is already maybe in the southern region. In that case, OPC staff would go and deliver the condolence money. But if the delegated minister is starting from Rirongwe, the practice has been the staff, ministerial staff, personal assistants, sometimes security people have been invited to OPC to collect the condolence money. Thank you.
I will still ask on the same. Who delivered the money to the family of late Duncan, Justice Duncan Tambala? Do you know who delivered? I'm not asking about the procedure, but who delivered to the family? Or where did the OPC deliver the money to?
Honorable Chairperson, as I said, there are always prior consultations with the family before even memos are escalated to the President. So delivery is always to the family through the minister who has been delegated to do that. Condolence monies are processed where there is delegation.
Thank you very much. You're saying the SPC told you that the money should be given to the Vice President, not on your page. I think that's page number 5. 5, yeah? Yeah. This was 4:30 to 5 p.m. Arrangements for the funeral started earlier than that. Do you know when a decision was made that government would be sending someone to represent the President? At what time?
It was, I think the feedback came on a Sunday afternoon. Remember, before then there was paperwork, a memo being submitted. But I think the time when former SPC was calling me, I suppose that's when maybe she got feedback from the approvals from the President. But she had heard that the Vice President would also be traveling. That's when she instructed me to confirm with my with the Secretary of the Vice President, indeed, if that was the case. Because as per protocol, it meant that the minister would no longer be speaking on behalf of the President at the funeral.
All right. The instruction was that the money should be delivered before 8 a.m. at the Vice President's office. I believe departure from Zuzu was at 9 a.m. Do you know why the man was to be delivered in the morning and not to his officials who probably left earlier than the 8 a.m.?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, as I said, confirmation that the Vice President would be traveling came around 7 or thereabouts. And when that confirmation was made, I had to call, firstly, the Finance Directorate to ensure that and it was a Sunday, by the way. So I had to call the Finance Directorate to arrange the condolence in the first place, and then consult the Secretary to the Vice President to guide on the delivery, where the man should be delivered. Ordinarily, it was supposed to be the accountants talking to each other, but it seems they couldn't. That's when I was consulted again, and I called Miss Irene Gangire. Apparently, at that time, I was later told that I think the Vice President was at his residence, and he didn't come to the office. He left for the airport, and around 8 a.m., I think the formation was already in place. So it was somebody, it could be the guard commander now, instructing the office of the Vice President to collect the condolence money because they were not coming to the office to collect the money. So that's how it happened.
Okay, and you're confirming that, you're confirming that the cabinet meeting took place at 22 hours on 10th June.
I can confirm. An emergency one.
That was an emergency cabinet meeting. The first cabinet meeting on the day. 22 hours. That's 10 p.m. Chair, thank you very much.
Who's next?
Zikomo kwambiri Chair. Pepani mafuna ndifuseko nkhani yokhuzana ndi kupanga chata ndege, kubwereka ndege kaya ku Malawi Defense Force. Tinamva mbuyomu kunena kuti Vice President akafuna kugwiritsa ntchito ndege ya ku MDF. Ndege kuti office ya President imayenera idziwitsidwe ipereke approval. Sindikudziwa kuti kaya inu mukudziwa kuti procedure yake imayenera kukhala choncho kapena zimayenera kukhala bwanji.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, when it comes to trips of the Vice President by plane, I think we are not involved in any way, so I may not be able to speak to that.
Zomwe mwambiri Chair.
Kanabenath?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think I'm having an additional question from what the Mwanza Central has asked. On your break number 9, for late Kasambala AC, the President delegated the Hon Richard Chimwendo Banda. That's your statement, right? We had the same. I'm having the presentation, Chair, from the late, the former Minister of Defense. It leads on his blade number 2, role of a Minister of Defense and Ministry. Honorable Chairperson and members, as requested by your committee, I will to state the following. 1. On 9th June 2024, at approximately 7 p.m., I received a phone call from the then head of state, Dr. Chakwera, Lazarus Chakwera, instructing me to represent him at the burial of Senior Counsel Ralph Kasambala for 10th June. So here now I'm confused. Who really was delegated by the President? Is it the former Minister of Local Government or the former Minister of Defense, according to you?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, decisions of the President are always made in writing. And what I've told your committee is what happened. There was a memo deployed by the former Secretary to the President Cabinet where the President approved in writing. So if the former Minister of Defense insinuated that he was delegated, then it's outside this, and I may not be able to comment. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Okay, so you can confirm that there were a memo deployed to informing your office that Honorable Chimwendo Banda is the one who's going to present the president, and not anyone from this memo.
I can confirm, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to know about these two. Who was delegated? Is it the local government minister or Minister of Defense, as it was represented here in the House? Thank you.
Yes, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair, for giving chance the people of Zomwe to ask a supplementary question to Mr. Ngutwa. I just wanted to know if Mr. Chimwendo has confirmed on that delegation.
Honorable Chairperson, I may not have understood the question.
Okay, mwina ndifuse nchichewa kunena kuti ndimafuna ndi muiuze komiti ino kuti Mr. Chimwendo atalembera memo kuti akawayimirira president kumaliroko. Mr. Chimwendo adavomera kuti akawayimirira. Thank you.
Yeah, because presidential directives always have to be complied with. So yeah, he was communicated, and he knew that he would be representing the president at the funeral. And whenever, as I said, whenever there is that delegation, the office of the president and cabinet facilitates, that trip. So in terms of fuel allowances for ministerial staff, that's what we are planning for, until when it was communicated that the vice president would be attending. In that case, as per a cabinet protocol, the minister would no longer be representing the president. That's why the condolence money had now to be sent to the office of the vice president. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair.
There's Mayani, there's Kasina, Mulanje Mudi, Lanta Malavada, in that order. Sorry, let me correct myself. Lilonge Mudi, and Blanta Malabada. Sorry about that.
Thank you very much, Chair. Ndithokoze kwambiri kuti mwapereka mwayi kwa anthu akudedza kumayani kuti awafuse mafuso Mr. Ngutwa. Choyamba bwana ndimangofuna mutatsimikiza kuti mmene mumagwirira ntchito yanu memo imene muli nayo ya oyimira president munasiyamo memo imodzi ndipo imanena za Honorable Chimwendo okha. Zichoncho mafuna mutsimikize.
Olemekezeka through chair ndikutsimikiza choncho.
Ndimafuna so mutsimikizire komiti ino kuti office yanu inakonza dongosolo la chopepesa kumaliro kwa Rafu Kasambala chokwana 5 million. Ndimangofuna so mutsimikizire.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, yes, I confirm.
Ndimangofuna so kuti mutsimikize kuti office yanu inakonza dongosolo kuti ipanga cover nkhani zokhuzana ndi coffin ya kapena tinoti casket ya pamaliro the late Rafu Kasambala.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, government made a contribution of 2.5 million towards the casket. The actual cost of the casket could be higher than this, but government only contributed 2.5 million.
Mundongosolo limeneli lokonza chipepeso inuyo ngati officer ndalama zimezi munaziona munazigwirapo ndikuzipereka kwa wina kapena zinaenda bwanji?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, mene zinakhalira ndi mujandafotokozera kale kuti SPC atayimba madzulo chakumadzulo kwenikweni dzuwa likulowa, and chifukwa chonena kuti anandiimbira ndikuona nkhani imene anandifotokoza ndipange and kumene ndinaliliko kumundako reception ndiyovuta. I had to leave immediately driving towards Lilongwe kuti nditani ndipange dongosolo limeneyo. Ndi atandiimbira 1 hour later kuti indeed a vice president yapezeka, vice president apita kumaliro. Chimene ndinapanga ndinaimbira a director a finance kuti pakufunika chani condolence money kuti ipite tsopano ku office ya vice president. Ineyo ndalama isinaigwire as a senior person, sinaigwire sinaione. Anali ma instructions kungopatsira wina so apatsireso wina mpaka ndalamayo inakapezeka ku office kwa anakampatsira secretary wa mmodzi mwa secretary a late vice president. Ine sinaigwire personally chifukwa kuti onali madzulo mwina kama sana ndikanaiona koma zonsezi zimachitika madzulo. Zikoma kwambiri.
Ndathokoza kwambiri. Funso langa lomaliza, panali nkhani imene inalengezedwa kumaliro alafu Kasambala malingana ndi amene anayimira president kumeneko, ndipo anatchulapo zinthu zitatu malingana ndi ma statement amene tili nawo chair munomo. Iwowa analengeza kuti a president athandiza kapena kuti boma pa ngozi imeneyi pamaliro amenewa anathandiza ndi chipepeso cha 5 million chimene mwatsimikizira. Banalengezedwaso kuti boma lathandiza nkhani ya casket imene mwatsimikiza kuti it was just a contribution ya 2.5 million imene mukunena kuti mundondomeko zanu malingana ndi presentation yanu zimatha kuchitika patsogolo, koma poti ndi pamaliro zinalengezedwa kuti ngati kuti zafika kale. Komanso pamene panalengezedwa nkhani ina yonena kuti ndege imene anatengera zovuta zimene zochoka ku Blantyre inachitidwa chata ndi boma. Ndimafuna inuyo mutatsimikiza kuti inuyo mu office mwanu munachitaponso process zina zilizonse zokhudzana ndi chartering za ndege imeneyi. Ndimilepo mpochera sikoma.
Kudzera kwa inu, Honorable Chairperson, I can confirm that boma lina konza chipepeso cha 5 million. I can confirm kuti so boma lina panga contribute 2.5 million towards the casket. Koma arrangement ya chartering of the plane, it's a new thing to me. It's not part of any documentation that OPC has. In any case, at the time when ndimayankhulana ndi council wa Ponakita, anakamba za ndege kuti akufaminate panga charter ndege kuti ikatengezo vuta from Blantyre to Nkatabe. You know, not Boma. No, government was not involved. Thank you.
Supplementary, Chair, on this.
Zomba Tondo.
I have my questions, Chair. I'll ask later, but I just want to add something on the Zamayani. Bwana Ngutwa, munayuza nyumba ino kuti zopanga ndondomeko yobwereka ndege inuyo poyamba mmene mayankhula manena kuti sizimakukhudzani. Nde pano zikuoneka ngati mwapeza yankho zinatheka banja papo kuti muyankhe pamene manena kuti sizimakukhudzani. So wambe Chair.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, zaulendo wa opita ku Nkatabe monga mmene ndinafotokozera. I called an officer in the office of the President Cabinet. Amene anandiuza kuti, in fact, that officer told me kuti ikapezeka ndege chifukwa ndegeyo anaipanga charter family ya late Kasambala. Ndegeyo ili kunzuzu. So to cut a long story short, Honorable Member for Zomba Tondwe, I had that information through my area consultation, the council wa Ponakita, menanga ndipatsa za program. Komanso, ntai mene I was engaging the office of the Vice President. Ananduuza sokuti, bwana wapita, koma kupita kukuteka pokapo ndege ikapezeka. At the moment, ndegeyo ilikali kuti ili kunzuzu. Koma there is an arrangement kuti mwina aipanga release kuti ithandize bwana. Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson.
Chair, I think I've not been answered. Ndimafuna kudziwa kuti pamene ndaiwala napusani ndana nafusa kuti ndondomeko ya ndege zimakhala bwanji ndiye munanena kuti ndege yochoka kwa vice president yogwiritsa ntchito vice president inu ku office kwanu sizimakukhudzani mmene mayankho poyamba. Komano ulendo uno mukupereka yankho kwa Dedza Mayani kuti ngati kuti mwapezano ansala ndeni mafuna kuti mwina tikhale pa page imodzi nakasi tifuna tipeze information komanso we need clarity in terms of information yathu. So interest yanga sili pa condolence money, sili pa the casket. Interest yanga ili pa chartering mmene afusira anzanga akudedza Mayani. Ndikupe mandimvetsetsa?
I still can't get it, koma. Ndinenabe kuti knowledge kuti ndege hii inapangidwa chata ndinaidziwa chifukwa cha kukambirana kwanga on I think it must have been a Saturday ndi council wapona kita. Ifana ndiuza kuti program ilionera kuti titenga thupi lipita ku Blantyre. Koma from Blantyre to Zuzu ipita pa ndege ya Malawi Defense Force. So I had that knowledge. Zose zimachitika zizizi nkuti ndikudziwabe. Then atandimbira SPC on a Sunday afternoon, I also got the same information from now the office of the vice president, from an officer from the office of the vice president. That's why there's a Mayani di Mayanka kuti arrangement ya Donia Boma never from the paperwork imene ili ku office nkani yoti Boma lipanga support o Boma ipanga charter ndege on behalf of the family. Ndithu zimene zimachitika when a former minister dies, pamakhala condolence money and at times contribution towards the casket. Mwina mutokandifusa honorable kuti contribution mapanga bwanji. Nthawi amapempha kubanja depending ndi situation yawo kuti mufuna Boma change COVID.
Ndimafuna kuti ndingowapempha ngati kwina kondamvetsetsa bwinobwino. Kwa mwina in the interest of time kuti ndisajere nthawi anzanga. Mwafotokoza bwino kwambiri kuti manena kuti in terms of paperwork office ya nkhani ya vice president office kwanu kulibe. Ndamva bwino? Ndakumva ndi bwino?
Yeah, simuna ndive bwino honorable. Unless you remind me kuti ndanena kuti kulibe. I can't remember saying that.
Mwina ndapatse mpata sinde kuva bwino.
Yeah, mwina ndingofusa office ya OPC imakhala involved kupanga approve military aircraft order ikachokera kwa VVIP. Are you involved in?
No, I'm not involved, Honorable Chairperson, and I'm not aware kuti office ya OPC makhala involved.
Maybe that's the question I wanted to put across. Yes, okay, so Yanko Malibeza?
Yeah, Yankidwa. Then I was getting confused in the answer mabita kudedza Mayani ziboko zimakanga dino zikusempana ngati nawo bwino. And I wanted we should be clear. Because that's how I got it kuamba kacha. Koma the answer that came to Mayani inali Osiana. I submit.
We were on Dedza Kasina and Lilongwe Mude. And then we have Planta Malabada, and then we end at the north with Kasungu North, Koma Nkadabe North around Nkadabe South, Nkadabe North Mulindi Parliamentary. Ndemusa Cherie Sanzano, Taperega Supplementary and Good Ndondo Megoya, Mafos, Yende Bonobin.
Our chair, Ndatogoza. Actually, still more on the same question. Yeah, my colleague, Dedza Mayani. The same report here, former minister, blood number 4, you know kuti. I later called SPC Zamba to find out about condolence money, and it was established that 5 million was given to the vice president, and that the cost of airlifting. So nilipa airlifting. Kuti government, the same government, inapeleka, did they hire this aircraft? Because ikoneka kuti ndaramaso aboma anapanga hire ku MDF. Nde iniyo at any point mnapanga po arrangement ya drama zimezes.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, indeed. We never processed anything to do with chartering of the Donia. Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair.
Zakasena?
Ziko mwambili Chair. Ndimafuna tiambile baja tamalizira amafusa zomba tunde baja sinafusa fusolina. I think in this I was lost bina nabangela zomba tunde Chair mafusa. Nufamba banga confirm kuti the chartering of the plane ya VVIP office yanu ya cabinet as a clerk is not involved. Can you confirm that one?
I can confirm, Honorable.
Koma munava za process ya maliro Kasambala Zandege, you had it like another person, not as an office.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, ndinamvapo, koma not necessarily kuti office is arranging. Yeah.
Chabino, the kupita ku presentation yanu tiambile za events following the passing of late Honorable Kasambala Senior Counsel, bullet number 6. I want you to take note here. The practice of former ministers has been to accord them burial full military honors in recognition of their contribution to the country. Then you will go to bullet number 8. Kumene munayamba the process ya maliro late Kasambala Senior Counsel. Munankhola ndi counsel wapona kita za programu General Kuwali za consultation ya maliro and eligibility kumembe logo nale consultation ya because of conviction status ya late Kasambala if he has to be accorded full military honors and the like. So I wanted you to confirm or tell this committee what's on the record or what was the approved one. Was he accorded the full military honors or what was the prerogative of the president which approved?
I think the approval was it should be accorded burial with military honors. Yeah.
Full military honors or just military honors?
I think military honors.
Okay, Jabin. Can you tell us when was this? Many Magambirana is processing. When did you discuss with SPC? Panamabanga memo. Immediately deployed to the president. When was this?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson. I think the consultation was on a Saturday, but the memo, because of those consultations, the memo was only deployed on a Sunday morning. Approval came on a Sunday afternoon. That's when SPC now called me.
Chabwino. Sindudziwa hapo ti zamalamulo zipena mutithandiza through chair the possibility ngati zimaloledwa cabinet papers to be shared a copy of that memo, the approved one, which the president had signed or had put his signature. If that is allowed through the chair, if you can be shared a copy of that one, where there's clear indication that he has delegated Honorable Jimwendo.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson. Yeah, I think a memo could be shared upon a request from the Chief Secretary. Thank you so much.
Okay, Chair, you take note of that.
Yeah, we'll follow up.
Ndiye bwana kuti nakupa ndi bwino lomwe kuti presidential order imakhala in written form. Honorable Nkandawira anabwera kuno kunena kuti nankho anda president madzulo inuzanu zimutankhwa nakala around 4:30 to 5 p.m. nda SPC then kuyena makuzani kuti mwina avesi ndakhoza kupita since kuti mene a president amayankhulana ndi honorable Hale Nkandawire according to honorable Nkandawire memo mutandira kale and mu process mubanga kale kusereko oti kupita chimwendo kapena a vice president akakonfirm.
Yeah, on that one, once again, through your chair, I stand by what I said. In terms of delegation, it was Honorable Richard Banda who was supposed to represent the president. The vice president came in, as I said, as per a cabinet protocol.
Chair, just a minute, Chair. Muna fusulanga nofasa nchijewa, ndikadakonda, mukadankaso nchijewa, fandu dzori kudedza kukasina kuja, timankhula chijewa.
Ndingatha kutsimikiza kuti a president anapanga delegate Honorable Chimwendo Banda kuti akayimire ku maliro ku Katabe. Ndine kuti Honorable Chimwendo Banda ndamene officially amenera kuyimira a president ku Katabe.
Muna ndifuse nawo be chair. Muntu amene amangidwa delegate nda president kupita kumaliro kapena kuma faction. Amalemba kwa president kuti kupita kwakuti kapena ku cabinet mapanga delegate kuti mwina ukukuti pangene nominate dzina la president akapanga approve.
Zikomo kwambiri honorable chairperson zimangotengera. Anthawi zina chief secretary amalemba memo kwa president kuti kuli function apa tingona kuti zamaliro anapanga report kuti Honorable Kasambala anatisiya, as you are aware, anali minister, is a former minister, then proposing. So decision imakhala ya president. Nthawi zina amatolenga ma proposals from the chief secretary or amatha kusintha kuti no, let Honorable Soso represent me. So it's either or.
Yeah. Ndiye mukambirana kuzona muna vice president akhoza kubwera kumaliroko ndekuti ngasapita ngalata piti ndo achimwenda ja protocol saka minister president. Ndiye adanena kuti you said you had checked into Dr. Sikwese bullet number 12 yanoi Yesaya and then osewa sibuda abeze amene amanena kuti a president akhoza kupita, a vice president akhoza kupita ndege ikapezeka. Mutapanga confirm mwali ndi Mr. Alfred Nkoma?
Through you, honorable chairperson, yes, Mr. Alfred Nkoma.
Mene anati akuuzani afufuzeka ndege itapezeka and mukunena kuti patatha ola limodzi anakuyimbirani kuti ndege ijapezeka ndipo vice president apita. Mukamapanga confirm chonje mufa mutandiuzako full chair ngati mungakumbukira kuti nali nthawi yanji imene amakupangani confirm kuti ndege ijapezeka vice president apita.
Through you, chair, SPC code anandimbira chakuma 5 nditu dzoli lukulowa nditu and immediately ntalephera kulumikizana ndi PS Kwese komanso PS Eric Yesaya nadza muimbira officer. So give it around maybe 20 minutes after I had received a call from SPC. Tinayankhulana ndiye anandiuza kuti no, it's true. So I suppose what PS Kwese or PS Yesaya testified here was correct. Kuti anamuuza because he was on the ground. Sipana pita nthawi. Roughly an hour, it could have been less as well. He called back. Kuti oya, amala kuti verse 4 such apanga confirm ndege ilipo. Ndikuti bwana ajadani apita. With him, our conversation ended there. Thank you so much.
Ndiye munapita madzulo ma 8 munayankhulana ndi former secretary to the vice president amene amafuna Magamba nawo nkhani ya chipepeso ti chipite bwanji tipange modani mwango chuti former secretary to the vice president page yanu inayi magamba zama anthu awiri a Dr. Lake Squese analiso secretary to the vice president, Mr. Eligi Asaya analiso principal secretary wa administration. Amene mwankho anawo madzulo awo around 80 million ndi ndani?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, anali Dr. Lake Squese, secretary to the vice president.
Ndiye ndalamayi inachoka ku office kapena kwa office of president cabinet kapena inachoka kwa president?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, pakakhala kuti president has delegated whatever function ndrama imachokera ku office ya president cabinet, so ndrama inachokera ku office.
Chair, wabino nofaa tipite ku page number 20, pamaka presentation number 21, imemu kama za death benefits and compensation. Chair, I'm only interested in nkhani ya compensation ifo kuti anthu amene abwera kuno angapo akambapo nkhani za ma benefits yo ndi compensation yo ena mwina ena amakana kuti sadalandire. Now, makamba za death benefits and compensation meeting imudachitika ndi office ya Vice President Foreign Affairs, nduna wa zaumoyo, Department of Human Resource Management, Accountant General, komanso nduna wa zachilungamo, Justice, and komanso nduna wa Labor wa zantchito. Now, I want to take you to your presentation in Annex 3, status and files, the attachment you have given us. Mwafika bwe? Shabwino. I'm only interested machula ma officers enosewa poyambitambire kuti koma office mamaka the vice president family si kuoneka baba.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, ndizoona the late vice president's family inali banja loyamba limene linalandira ma benefits out, because those benefits were facilitated by the office of the president cabinet. So itachitika meeting ya pa 9 September. I think by October, with the following month, zinapezeka kuti Madam Mary Chilima alandira ma benefits out. Enawa analandira be mbuyo. So the reason why, and I think it's not just even late Chanel Muluz, they are not appearing here, because I understand kuti family yao inanena kuti amafuna kuti anawo and amene adzapange processes. So file idapita ku Balaka District Council, koma mpaka pano khangati wosanalipidwe, koma the rest ndamene ika apa, koma kwa late vice president sizinachedwa kwambiri. Within 4 weeks after this meeting they got, because imapangidwa facilitating the office ya president cabinet as a late former vice president. Pamene enawa anali ma ministries ako kumene amachokera.
Tisanapite kwa enawa pa office ya vice president omweyo ananena former second lady kuti mutapasa ma benefits omwewa. She continued amalandirabe ma benefits ena manje ma benefits ena mpana boma lita sinta mene enanasiya for the malamulo. Can you confirm kuti mapatsabe even outside the mutapasa ma benefits awo outside the law, you're still giving according to my benefits as a vice president's wife?
Yeah, through your chair I can confirm that, and it's not necessarily outside the law. There is a President's Benefits and Salaries Act imene imapanga govern my benefits ama presidents and former presidents. So there is a provision in that act imene was used to support the payments until September 25, because the vice president died whilst serving in office.
Well, that provision you can share first, because if I remember very well, Adam Walilaban was a vice president, so you are saving the same act, the same benefits two people, two officers?
Through you, Chair, I think I brought a copy of the Act in anticipation, which I can leave at the end of this hour.
Fine, you share that one. Now, let's quickly go, Chair. Compensation was paid. I'll just read one. Kama ikupanga pia kwa osewa. Ma families are osewa.
Yes.
Compensation was paid through Ministry of Labor, workers' compensation. I wanted to have explanation on that one. If my family anabwera madad nandra benefits, dandra pension yao, ena dandra gratuity. The mukamayankula ya compensation kuti how did you reach on that compensation? Ina compensation yango zi compensation ya jani. Imene mabatsawa ngati kwali ma families amenewa. With this based on the Ministry of Labor workers compensation. Inali ya jani.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Yes, through the Ministry of Labor, workers' compensation is processed to do with ngozi sobano ngati ogwira ntchito mboma. That compensation fund or arrangement is done through the Ministry of Labor. But in addition, I think panelists my payments ngaraja sobano my death benefits, you know, those ones are facilitated by the Department of Human Resource Management and Development. But whenever Minister of Labor is mentioned, automatically it means workers' compensation by virtue of the accident. Yeah.
Inali compensation jipepeso ja ngozi.
I can confirm that, Honorable.
And also magamba za contributory pension and another pay as you go. And there's also thinking if another salvation your car, another graduate, maybe can you clarify on that one? And when through their chair, I will raise my case as Dezagasin.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member Dezagasina. Through your chair, I would want to refer any inquiry on the compensation or death benefits to the Department of Human Resource Management. I think they're the ones who can give the finer details, because it's not the responsibility of OPC. We're just pushing because the families had reached out to the office of the President Cabinet. They were struggling. And mind you, this meeting was taking place on 9th September. The whole reason because it was around the school was Matsagulira. So it was an effort by OPC to make sure that these processes are fast-tracked. That's why this meeting took place. Otherwise, it is not the responsibility of OPC to handle such matters of gratuity and compensation. Department of Human Resource Management, Accountant General, those are the departments that can give your committee finer details, even the amounts that were paid. Thank you so much.
Elongemude.
Zikomo kwambiri chair. Pepani Ngutwa ndikufusani mafuso amene oti mwina afusidwa kale koma tikufuna timvetse chifukwa kumva kumakhala kosiyana nthawi zina. Poyamba ndifuso la matilongosolera kuti mu office mwanu mu cabinet office imene mmagwirayo khani zopanga chata ndege sizimabwera mu office imene momo ndizoona?
Izoona, Honorable Member.
Zikomo kwambiri. Ndimafuna ndimve nkhani imeneyi kuti banja la kwa Kasambala lapanga chata ndege ndekuti sizinabwere mu office mwanu inuyo mudamvera kwa ndani?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, koyamba ndinamvera kuchokera kwa council wapona kita. Chifukwa council wapona kita ndamene anatigaira program ya maliro late Honorable Ralph Kasambala. Kachiwiri, it was through the office of the Vice President, Mr. Alfred Nkoma Jandina Kufotokoza.
ndiye kuti mwayankha kale funso linalo ifani mafuna ndifunse kuti nanga upanga chata ndege yoti a vice president akupita koma pa ndege ndiye kuti mwayankha kale kuti ankhoma amaofesi ya vice president ndi amene adakuwuzani. Now apopo tathana ndimafuna ndimve nkhani ya chipepeso chifukwa mwatilongosolera kunena kuti chipepeso ku ofesi kwanu chimadzera pawiri. Anthu amaofesi mwanu amatenga chipepeso pita nacho kumene kuli maliroko kukapereka kapena nduna imene a president aisankha kuti ipite ikapange represent kapena ipite ku maliroko m'malo mwawo. Amaofesi ya ndunayo ndi amene amabwera kudzatenga ndalama za chipepeso nkupita nazo. Ndiyeno mwalongosola kunena kuti mudamva madzulo a tsiku limene lisande kunena kuti mutamva kwa Alfred Nkhoma kuti ukhanga a vice president apita, it was confirmed. Ndiyeno ndalama zija tsopano zinapita ku ofesi kwa a second vice president kuti zitengedwe zipite ku maliro akapepese. Pali chokayikitsa china chilichonse kuti mwina simunatsatire ndondomeko pa nkhani imene?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, ndithu palibe chokayikitsa china chilichonse, ndondomeko yonse inatsatidwa.
Zikomo kwambiri Chair.
Kasungu North and no, sorry.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Planta Malabada.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Funso la ine likuchokera pa conclusion, bullet number 22. I quote, all in all, my role before and after the incident was largely facilitatory. We had to make sure that the burials of the 8 officers as well as the state funeral of the late Vice President are well facilitated. Ndimafuna ndiziwe kuti mabanja ngapo akhala apanga complain kuti sana landile autopsy komanso analibe mwayi okuti apange identify matupi a abale yawo. Inuyo ngati office amene amapanga hand ntchito ya autopsy anali ndani, komanso ma autopsy report tamva kuti anasiyidwa ku OPC. Ma report amene wawa padakali pano ali ndi ndani, komanso munapanga effort yokuti ma report amenewa apasidwe kwa mabanja kuti akhutisidwe, komanso atapanga complain kuti amakanizidwa kuti aone matupi. Inuyo a office involvement yanu inali yotani yoonesesa kuti mabanja wasavutike chonchi? Ziko.
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, just seeking your guidance whether I should tackle this one because it's not part of my report. And the reason why it was not included is because we never took any active role. When it comes to autopsies, I think it's unduna wa Minister of Health, Deputy Secretary for Health and amene anga yankebwino nkhani many. If I've taken an oath and I don't want to start speculating. Thank you so much.
Apapo mwayankha responsibility kumene tingatoko fusolo kuti libite ndi mwayankha bwinobwino.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson.
Kasungu North, yeah.
Thank you, Chair, for giving the chance to the people of Kasungu North to ask questions to Mr. Samson Ngutwa. Questions are just 2 from Kasungu North. The first question is, looking back, what lessons should government learn from these administrative arrangements? The second one.
Should I take it now?
No, let me maybe ask the second one. The second one is there any information you believe previous investigations did not adequately consider? Thank you, Chair.
Through you, Chair, From where I'm sitting, a key lesson that I can draw from this tragedy, it has to do with the law, legal framework. I was asked, I think it was maybe Zomwe Tondwe, to do with the continuation or yomapereka ma benefits kwa family yotsalira, and I said it was based on the Presidents and Salaries Act, but sumo we noted that legal framework needs review, especially in terms of surviving spouses. The kind of support which was rendered, as I reported, as I confirmed, Honorable Chairperson, it was up to September 2025, because within that period, the law was in a way supporting those payments. But beyond that, that kind of support is no longer there. So, from where I was at the time of the tragedy, I think the legal framework, the President's Salaries and Benefits Act on our members ought to be reviewed. That process was initiated already, and there could be a draft somewhere within government. So I would suggest that maybe as part of this process, that aspect of the legal framework should also be looked into. With regard to the second question, information, previous reports, I have nothing to say on that one, because I think Sindina Zwerenge Bunobwina. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Supplementary from Mother Central?
Yes, Chair. I appreciate that Mr. Ngutwa is saying the issue of autopsy was the responsibility was in the hands of Minister of Health, but the report, the Commission of Inquiry, the previous one, is saying that the reports were sent to OPC. Yeah, so maybe that's where Ndilande Malabada Nyambadwe question came from, that those reports that were sent to OPC, are they still in OPC? Did you leave them there? Yeah, I think that was the question, because it's coming from the report that was done in the last Commission of Inquiry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and through you, Honorable Chair. I would defer response to this question to former SPC. I'm hoping maybe you have an opportunity to engage her, so maybe she's better placed to comment, but they never came through my office as clerk to the cabinet then. Thank you so much.
Zomwe City South.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. And I think it's afternoon. Mr. Ngutwa. I have only a few, and I'm happy that my friends have also tackled some of them. Chair, just also to ask, like the Zagasina, that we need the memo that is on bullet number 7, sub 2. You did say that this memo can be made available, so I just wanted also to concur with the Zagasina. Moving on, I'll go to page the last page, which is on bullet 21. Before the conclusion, I'll read. The meeting was solely convened to ensure that death benefits and compensations are processed quickly to families of department officers. I just wanted you to clarify, when you say families of department officers, what do you mean?
Through you, Honorable Chairperson, my apologies, that's a typo. It was supposed to be departed.
Thank you so much, because I had a question to say, which department office did the Muluzi family belong to? So I'm happy that you have corrected that. Chair, on the same, if the minutes of that meeting could also be made available, I would also appreciate through you, Chair, because I'm sure that meeting must have had minutes that we are supposed to look at. On the funeral of Raf Kasambara, I'm trying to see where this was written. You said the full military honors. I think it's on bullet number 6. Burial with full military honors. But you did answer to there's Kasina that for this former minister, it was just military honors. I just wanted to know, to say, does the aircraft provision, is it included in the full military honors? When you say full military honors, do you also include provision of an aircraft in case the departed comes from very far, like in Katabe? I just wanted to see the difference between full military honors and military honors.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member Zomba City. I will start with the second one. I think provision of aircraft is not part of full military or stroke military honors. The distinction between the two can best be elaborated by the military personnel. And in my own experience, maybe it's minor. Ndi mambo mene ena program ine imajogera kuija na matenga from the morgue kupitisa mpaka kunyumba, ena amajoga just mambo kao kayamba, ena mapolisa mizinga yao ija. Koma I'm not competent enough on a member Zomba to explain well. It can be flagged and the military should be able to explain. Thank you so much.
So on that one, we might say what you wrote here, you are not fully aware the distinction between full military honors and military honors, because you responded to the Zagasina to say no, it was not full military honors, it was just military honors. So you are saying you are not aware what we are saying about the difference.
I can confirm that, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, you want to comment?
Chair, I just wanted to be, I was trying to scribe something for my notes. I just wanted to be on the same page with Bwana Ngutwa. Mafuna ngotsimikiza mnanena kuti President akapanga delegate munthu amatumiza ndrama kwa munthu uyo, koma ndrama imachokera kwa President. Mafuna ngomanga confirm mnatero ndrama ya akamanga delegate munthu imapita kwa amene akuitaya.
Honorable Chairperson, ndrama imachokera ku office ya President in the cabinet. Timapanga process, the usual processes. You do a loose minute, it's approved. Then ndrama ichakakha kuti ready cash imapita ku family kuja. Amena matenga, amena magerengeza ndi nduna imene yapangidwa delegate.
Okay. I think it is more my fundamental for in Nalemba, and I just wanted to be double sure. Pomalizira. No, I think that's okay, Chair, for now. Thank you.
Chair, if you allow me, Zomba Tondo has reminded me. Mr. Ngutwa, do you remember anyone who traveled to Nkatabe from the office of from OPC? Any officer who traveled to Nkatabe, if you might remember any? Thank you.
mwina muyankhire limodzi pepani chair ndifunso lajenda likumbukira ndaliwala kuti pa nkhani ya chipepesoyo panabwera bwana Isaya komanso ngasindu lakwitsa askwese koma I can be double sure about Isaya ananena kuti chiyambireni iwo ogwira kwa vice president sikunachokepo ndalama kwa OPC kupita kwa office ya vice president. Mafuna mungopanga confirm kuti is that correct? Ngati mwandimva zomwe.
Honorable, ndakumva ni bwino and PS Eric Isaya was correct because my delegation onse or even list tabanga share amakhala ma ministers, you know. The only delegation imene ndingakumbukire of the CAF ya vice president ndi imene right honorable Michael Usa amapita ku Namibia to represent the president. Koma zosezi zovuta zosezi zimene zakhazi kuchitika locally, the practice has been a minister. I'm not too sure we been peza makhala kuti so ndi former cabinet minister nchifaya ya makhala minister atakhala kuti mwina ndi former president mwina a vice president or a former vice president can be delegated. Koma it's indeed true this was a once off incident. It only happened because of protocol, cabinet protocol. Kupita VP ndekuti andona sanga kayankhuleso on behalf and oyankhulayo ndamene amatenga chipepesochi.
No, I think that now hierarchy. Kama we can't nkani yomwe tikumena kuti timalizise fa akuti yankha mafunso nditubwerasa pa mfundo yomweyo ndimona ngati munthu ayankha yeah atifunso lawo simuna ayankhe
Ona member for Jene sina yankhe for Zomba
zina kuti zachuluka ndifunsa nchichewa timati kuti mukhoza kukumbukira office aliyense ochokera ku OPC amene anapita kumaliro ku Nkhatabe.
Through you, honorable chairperson, I can't remember of one. I can't, and perhaps again, and the explanation could be because a minister was delegated. So I can't remember the senior officers went through. Thank you so much, honorable chairperson.
Thokoza kwa pepani ma members tongofuna timalizise sijibongwea nongofuna ndidziwe pangani ya ma condolences mwina mungoti kumbusa kudi munapereka so ma condolences kwa a former vice president ngati munapereka zinaindira mazingati just for the record.
Through you, honorable chairperson, maybe the late.
Yes, the former vice president of the Saulos culture, kubanja lao.
Oh, Chabwin.
Yeah.
No, because it was a state funeral, and because the late was accorded a state funeral, I don't seem to remember that any special condolence man was arranged. I can't remember of the CAF, but all the expenses were borne by the state. Whereas ikakhala zina za military honors kama khanga tika contribution kaboma. That's why condolence money comes in. Koma kwa vice president, apart from kuti everything was covered by government, I may not remember of the CAF, honorable chairperson.
Sono chipepeso sinapite zina za boma linapanga support kama kupepesa pa chikhalidwe chathu pa mambo wathu kubanja la Chilima boma sinapitise chipepeso chimene chinapita chinali kwa Rafka Sambala basi cha 5 million koma chipepeso cha mu envelope sinapita kubanja la Chilima.
I may not say kuti sikinapite, koma if it happened, then it was not through my office. It was not processed through the cabinet office.
Ndatokoza. Mwatifotokozera mwachimvekere kuti munali facilitator. Munafanya mafunso enawo akamakhala kuvota nikuyankha. Koma tinene kuti ngati facilitator maminisi mmatenganso ama meeting.
I can confirm that. Cabinet minutes, ministerial meetings, yes, we are responsible. But when it comes to technical minutes of the technical committee, it was the administration Imene Mapanga. So the way it works in the office of the President Cabinet, Cabinet office is responsible for cabinet-related work, minutes of cabinet meetings. If there's a ministerial task force in place, those minutes are taken by staff in the cabinet office at that time under me. But when it comes to PSs, then it's the administration department that takes care of those minutes. So that record is there, Honorable Chairperson.
Mwatifotokozera kuti pa 10 June kudali meeting 10 o'clock usiku. Ndizoona right?
I can confirm, Honorable Chairperson.
Koma simunaduza kuti agenda yake inali chani. Meeting yapa 12 manena. Matsarani agenda yake pa page ipo kuti zimene makambirana. Zimene amakambirana. Kamene ndutenge ndo page kwanuko. Item number 17. On 10th June 2024, members of the cabinet were invited to an emergency meeting, cabinet meeting. It was very late, and around 22 hours, the former president briefed on the missing plane search rescue efforts. Did not mean the agenda.
Exactly, Honorable Chairperson, and the meeting did not even last 15 minutes because it was basically the former president briefing his cabinet before going on air to address the nation. Honorable Chairperson, cabinet minutes are classified, confidential, and property of the Malawi government. There is a laid down procedure that you are supposed to follow to access those minutes. So what you are supposed to do is just to write the Chief Secretary's office.
Okay, I think that's very clear. We'll follow up with the kind of records okwanira muno bwino. Mwandu kutokozeni kuti mapanga fill in gaps and the raw yana very clear. Ya facilitator kama mwaisesa. Tuumana ndi a former SPC masana bano. My decisions ena amene mauzira ndo kuti titaso kwa forsa masana kuti story yaku OPC kale very complete. Sinduziwa ngati muli ndi mawe no malizira.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members of the committee. I think yours is a noble but challenging task. Let me just add my voice to those who have already spoken before me. One, to pray for you. I think God's grace of concentration, because it's really an enormous task, but also to wish you all the best as you execute this noble task. Thank you so much, Honorable Chair.
Tokoza kwambiri. It was a pleasure interacting with you. Yeah, you may take leave.
Osaiwala